For more than 40 minutes at an extraordinary press conference, President Mehta presented his reasons for cancelling the local elections, saying elections with only a single party are not democratic and as such undermine integration. The SP has started collecting signatures to launch dismissal proceedings against President Mehta following his decision to annul his decree for the local election date. The fund for the construction of the new Ring Road project will be increased to 2.6 billion lek, with the Minister of Infrastructure and Energy announcing the initiation of tender procedures. Six o'clock on Monday, the 10th of June 2019. Good evening and thank you for tuning in to RTV Ora's English edition. The head of state assured the citizens that no legal vacuum would be created with the postponement of the elections because, according to him, they will continue to receive services from local government units. Furthermore, he expressed his readiness to decide on an alternative election date after dialogue and consults with all political parties, while calling for reflection and collaboration between the majority and the opposition. Parties should reflect on the future of Albania and their support in the interest of the Albanian people. They should not think about themselves anymore, but dialogue and find an institutional and constitutional solution, said Mehta. He criticised all parties for not reflecting on and instead deepening their conflicts. I appeal to all political factors, both local and international, to contribute towards dialogue and finding a solution, appealed Mehta. The president had foreseen that the majority would not accept his decision, and for this reason was quite clear in his speech that there cannot be elections without a date appointed by the president. At the end of his long speech, Ilir Mehta also made the eagle symbol of the Albanian flag with his hands, which was said to be done to show that this decision was made in the interest of the citizens. The Socialist Party has declared the decision made by President Ilir Mehta to abolish the decree for holding the local elections on 30th of June as unconstitutional. Edi Rama, in the Socialist Party meeting, has set in motion the procedures for dismissing Ilir Mehta from the post of president, starting from Thursday's parliamentary session. During his speech in the SP Parliamentary Group meeting, the Prime Minister said that the parliamentary session of Thursday will conclude with a resolution for the President's dismissal. In a public declaration made at the end of the SP executive meeting, the spokesperson of the Socialist Party, Elisa Spiropali, said that this was the decision of the SP executives and procedures will begin as soon as this Thursday. The leadership of the Socialist Party discussed the brutal act of Ilir Mehta and decided to hold a parliamentary debate on Thursday on this issue to discuss all the arguments the President raised regarding this decision to cancel the election. In the end, it will be the Electoral College or the Central Election Commission who will need to analyse the situation from a legal standpoint, said Spiropali. To dismiss the president, the Socialists will seek the vote of the MPs in the new opposition because 94 votes are needed. It should also be noted that the final decision would need to be made by the Constitutional Court, which at the moment is not functional. But this fact is not preventing the Socialist Party from undergoing the Mehta dismissal initiative. According to Article 91 of the Constitution, when the President of the Republic is temporarily unable to exercise his functions or when his seat remains vacant, the Chair of the Assembly takes his place and exercises his powers. The Socialist Party has collected the signatures needed to propose the dismissal of President Ilir Mehta to the Assembly. The Central Election Commission has rejected the implementation of the decree by President Ilir Mehta, who ordered the cancellation of the elections and charged this institution with the responsibility of notifying all electoral subjects. 4 members, including Vice Chair Denar Biba, Rezarta Bitri, Bledar Skenderi and Edlira Yorgaci, called the normative act as null. All 4 members of the CEC were appointed by the Socialist Party. Meanwhile, CEC Chair Clement Zguri left by not accepting to discuss the decree. Zguri said he was facing a challenge and made it clear that the CEC, an inferior institution to the President, did not have the power to discuss the decree of the head of state and rose from the table, inviting other members to follow if they had the same opinion. It's an unusual situation. It looks like a challenge. On one side, it's the President who cancels the date of the elections, and on the other side, a meeting with an agenda called by my 2 colleagues. Respecting laws and hierarchy should be that which prevails. I refuse to judge the power power of the President because it is not the Central Election Commission that is responsible for such an obligation. Personally, I do not find myself in the right place to direct the CEC meeting when there are such strong and nonsensical debates from a judicial perspective. To continue to act calmly during this period of ambiguity that has involved the country, I'm forced to rise from my chair, and my colleagues, if they see the same logic as I, they can join me, concluded Zuguri. However, it would seem that the 4 other members did not share the same opinion with him, given that they chose to remain and continue their meeting without his presence. Acts of violence which occur at stadiums will now be punished by up to 3 years imprisonment. The Media and Education Commission adopted in principle the draft law on amendments to the Penal Code, which seeks to increase punishments for incidents such as throwing objects onto the playing field. The members of the Commission, in assessing the proposed changes, agreed to the need for violence to be prevented. The draft law also seeks for harsher penalties to be applied for acts of violence against women, as well as the phenomenon of bullying in schools. The Ministry of Infrastructure and Energy has resumed the tender procedures for building the new Ring Road project. The new project of the first lot will have a value of 2.6 billion lek, around 200 million more than the cancelled offer of the DH Albania company. Infrastructure Minister Belinda Baluku announced this fact during the presentation of the new project after the technical approval. The construction cost of the Eagle Overpass has been referred to as extremely expensive, and some even allege it as abusive, given that building a kilometre of road totals a cost of around €20 million, information which has been supplied by former opposition MPs. The new project provides dedicated lanes for public transport vehicles as well as bicycle users, and the 3-floor traffic solution will now also go underground. The Law Commission has approved a significant mitigation of the punishment for maltreatment or killing of animals compared to the proposals contained in the initiative of the 20,000 citizens on the draft law on amendments to the Penal Code. The Commission approved in principle the fine of up to 6 months in prison for persons who kill animals, while in the primary initiative, the requested penalty was up to 2 years imprisonment. This proposal is expected to be objected to by representatives of animal welfare associations. Measures for anyone who mistreat animals will range from a fine to up to 3 months in prison. And that's the news across the country today. Thank you for watching our English edition this evening, and be sure to join us again every Monday to Saturday at 6 p.m. for the latest news from Albania. Once again, on behalf of RTV Ora, thank you and good night.